Dude, you're in a really bad spot. Let me help you. There you go. What are you doing, creepy creeperton? You're being a creep. Billie Jean! You! Come here. You! Come on, sister. Maybe somewhere where we can see a little better. Oh, hi. You ready for snacks? Yes? Okay, hold on. Let me get him out of the bag. Got eye boogie. Hold on. Let me get your eye boogie. Let me get your eye boogie. There you go. Okay, ready? It's a big one. You want the whole thing? There you go. Nice cool carrots. Huh. You're awesome. You're an awesome little beefsteak. Oh, I think I got one more piece in here. Hold on, let me get it out. Oh, there's a couple pieces. Hold on. I'm not gonna give you the bag. Patience, sister. Here. All right. That's all I got. All I got. Hello all, welcome back to Ashley's Homestead Adventures. As you can see, the turtle rescues are continuing. We've been very blessed to be able to do turtle rescues throughout the summer. Not as prevalent as they are in the spring, but that little guy was in a very peculiar position, but thank God I wasn't on a busy road, and I knew that it was safe to just go ahead and get out. So I put my hazards on and got out and got him safely across the road. He was on a corner, so I was like, oh, he's gonna get squished. I have to save him. So anyway, that always makes me feel good. And then of course, Miss Billie Jean loves her snacks, and I know how much you guys love to watch her eat her snacks. And our time is shortening with Miss Billie Jean. So every time I can share snack time with her and with you, I want to. We're in the kitchen, obviously, today, and I have a lot going on today in the kitchen, and it's always at times like these that I think, are you sure that you're not doing too much or getting too many projects going at once? But alas, here we are. So I'm going to try to get all of these projects completed today. We will see. The first thing that we have happening is I have shredded chicken here, and some dog rice that I've already pre-made and frozen in these 1 pound packages, as well as some shredded zucchini from last year's garden that was in the freezer. I have 3 dozen eggs here to put into this dog food batch. And I also have this chicken bone broth that I made from the last batch of chickens that I cooked that I need to skim the fat off of the top, and we are going to make the dogs some dog food with this. Then I need to go ahead and get these eggs washed and to the farm stand, because I have managed to sell 172 eggs for delivery this week, so I need to get those washed and ready for delivery. Then I have over here ground cherries and tomatillos, and I am going to make a batch of tomatilla salsa, aka salsa verde. Now I am learning that sometimes salsa verde may refer to green tomatoes being used in the salsa. I did not know that until I just read a new recipe in a new book that I just got, which is the Ball Blue Book, and I'm actually going to be using a recipe out of here. I thought that it was interesting when I went to salsa verde that it called for green tomatoes, not tomatillos. So I'm actually going to make what in this book is called a tomatillo salsa, and we're going to try that recipe for these tomatillos. And these are tomatillos and ground cherries that I grew last year, and before the frost, picked them all, put them in the freezer until I could have time to do them. So we're going to see how that turns out. I have a salsa verde that I made last year that is incredibly spicy, and so I'm going to try to make more of a mild one. And the Aunt Molly's ground cherries are going to add a sweetness to the salsa, which is favorable if you want like a, you know, a chip eating salsa. You know, think peach mango salsa that you can buy at Costco, or pineapple salsa, things like that. So I did look it up, and it does say that you can use ground cherries because ground cherries are really a species of tomatillo. So we're gonna give that a try, see how it works out, and get that canned up hopefully today, as well as it is a day off for me, so I'm going to be making bread. So let's jump in and see how much we can get done. Oh, but before we do that, I want to add in a video of some mule deer that Mr. Wonderful captured today, and let you guys enjoy the beauty of some mule deer in Oregon, which is a beautiful thing that we get to enjoy, both Arkansas and Oregon all in one video. So you guys watch that, and I will get to skimming the fat off of that broth. Pretty incredible, isn't it? I just think that it is so amazing, just the difference of wildlife in between here in north central Arkansas and central Oregon. You know, we have turtles here, we have deer here, but we have whitetail here. We don't have the big beautiful muleys, and I do miss seeing them. And we do have elk, but not very many. And so of course Mr. Wonderful sends me videos of the elk that I get to share with you as well, which is beautiful. But I have gotten this skimmed off for the most part, and now we are just going to add all of the ingredients of this dog food into the crock pot and get it cooking. And we will get it cooked just until the eggs are done and the rice and the zucchini is heated through, and then I will put it up in containers and take it to the fridge out in the garage for use for the dog's food. If you are new here, welcome. And to explain to you what I do for my dog food, we do like to feed our home cook for our dogs. We especially love to home cook for our dogs with protein and vegetables that we grow on our farm. Obviously we have to buy the rice, but here is my recipe that I am willing to share with you. However, I do need to put on here that you should consult with your veterinarian before changing your dog's food to home cooked. You need to make sure that it is the right thing for you, and of course make sure that you have a correct balance for your dog. This is just the recipe that works for me, and I am more than happy to share it with you If you want to just home cook for your dog, feed them kibble, and then just add this as a topper, as something a little extra, then that is great. But this is what we do for our dogs, and it has worked for, I think we are on year 7, maybe 7 or 8 that we have home cooked for our dogs. So we do, in a 10-pound batch, we do 7 pounds of protein. We do 1.5 pounds of a vegetable. In this case, it's shredded zucchini. 1 pound of brown rice, and that is the carbohydrate in this. Some people choose barley. Some people choose lentils, which do not work for my dogs. Some people choose beans or legumes, which also do not work for my dog. They do add protein if they work for your dogs, but my dogs don't do well on any legumes, and they don't do well on lentils. So we stick to brown rice. Sometimes we will do oats, but I find that adding oats makes it makes the dog food very cakey, and I don't like that. So, and then also ideally a 1/2 pound of offal or organ meat, which I do not have in this batch, but I am okay with that because I have this bone broth. Now this bone broth, just the short end of that, I take the bones from our chickens. After I take the meat off of them, they go back in the crock pot, and I fill the crock pot up with water. Then I cook it and add about 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. Then it gets cooked down for 3 days until the bones just basically disintegrate. The apple cider vinegar helps to draw the nutrients out of the bones, and then you have a very rich bone broth, which is why this bone broth is so dense in color. And this is chicken bone broth, just chicken. And so that is what you have, and that is my recipe for that. Now that I've given you all of the information, I'm going to get all of the stuff in the pot, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've added everything but the eggs to the pot, and it is quite full because it's the zucchini and the rice is frozen. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cook down for a few minutes, and then I will just start adding the eggs as this melts and gets soft, and I can get it mixed in, and it will go down in the pot. Now I'm going to move on to the that absolutely cracks me up. Every single time that I turn the camera on with you guys, it seems like I have got a cupboard open somewhere. And of course I have an old farm kitchen that's falling apart, so we don't have cupboard doors on some of our cupboards, which is okay. We are going to now move on to the egg part of this, and these are farm fresh eggs that have been at the farm stand, and then they move to the backup egg section the following week, and then they turn into dog food. So these are eggs that are about 2 weeks old, just at the end of 2 weeks old, and they are now going to get turned into dog food. And you will notice that I am putting the shells in the chicken bucket, and that is because I feed the eggshells back to my chickens for added calcium. I'm using the bowl that the chicken was in, so that's why you see little bits. I'm not worried about using a clean bowl for this project. Moving on, we're going to go ahead and get these eggs that are in the egg basket cleaned up and get them packaged up and ready to go to the farm stand for deliveries. Hi ho, hi ho. Off to the farm stand we go. Are you coming? Oh, sounds like Bee wants to come too. Oh golly, it's a beautiful day out. See my cute little fall decorations. It's not much, but it's something. I'm going to put a dozen in here for the locals. Hopsy, can you please go away so that not everybody has to listen to you pant? And then the others will go in here for the orders that have been placed for delivery on Thursday. And since I'm in here, I also need to pull 6 more muscadine jellies for delivery as well. Moving on in the kitchen, we are going to start a loaf of sourdough discard sandwich bread. Here is the recipe in my very well used cookbook, as you can see. If you'd like to take a screenshot, you're welcome to. So to a bowl, I have added my sourdough discard, my water, and my flour. And now we're just going to mix it together until just incorporated. There it is. Cover it up, let it rest and hydrate for 30 minutes. Okay, now we're gonna move on to feeding my sourdough starter. We're just gonna take my sourdough starter, put it in a bowl. I'm gonna cut it in half, discard half, and then whatever the weight that is left in the bowl of my starter, I will add that weight in flour and water. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the salsa verde or the tomatillo salsa. And in order to do that, we need to head out to the garden and pick some peppers. These are banana peppers. Let's see here. It would appear that these are tam jalapeno. That's exciting. Now these little beauties are Trepidera Werner, and they are super fruity, but they pack some heat also. They're very cute, they're very aesthetic in the garden, but they are a hot pepper, so be very careful. But they do have a very fruity flavor, a lot like a habanero. Okay, these are datil. They are extremely hot. And this looks like these are serranos. I'm gonna finish picking the datils here. It's a good size one. Quite a few on the plant, but not many that are ripe. Okay, so serranos can be picked red or green as well. I'm gonna go ahead and pick all of them. But I'm going to get a separate basket within my basket because they look an awful lot like the young jalapenos. Hot pepper haul. I need to get a 5-gallon bucket for the not good ones. These are not jalapenos. Okay, I do think that is enough peppers for the task at hand, considering we only really need a cup. So let's take these into the house. Okay, so now that they're in the house, my plan is to see how much tomatillos and ground cherries I have, and then use the amount of peppers from what we just picked in the recipe. But I need to find out how many pounds or cups. And actually, I could just do it by pounds. So I'm supposed to need, well, here, I always let you guys get a picture. There is the recipe. So the recipe calls for 2 pounds of tomatillos. So I'm gonna weigh out what I have, and then we'll know how many peppers we need. But first, the bread is ready to get shaped and go into the bread pan for its final rise. Sit there on the stove with a towel over it, and we'll let it rise for another hour. Okay, let's see how much ground cherries and tomatillos we have. 4 pounds, 1 ounce. Because my last batch was so hot, I'm gonna go ahead and add half jalapenos, so we still get that jalapeno flavor, and then half serranos. See if maybe I can come up with a medium salsa verde. That's the plan. As you noticed right there, I did substitute some lemon juice for the lime juice because I'm out of lime juice, which sucks, but I'll put it on my list. Okay, now that the canner is loaded with our tomatillo ground cherry salsa verde, let's get the oven preheated to 350 for our bread, because our bread is looking quite lovely, and in about 10 minutes we'll be ready to go into the oven and we'll bake it off. In the meantime, I am going to go ahead and get the hot peppers washed and divided up into baskets for the farm stand. Looks like our salsa verde is done. Clear water. It's always a good sign. Doesn't that look yummy? Another perfectly beautiful loaf of bread. I can't wait to try it. And as you saw, there is a partial jar in there, and I don't have a problem doing canning partial jars as long as they don't float. If you don't have enough in the jar when you're water bath canning, they will float. So but of course this one didn't, so I do have a partial jar here, and that will be mine to taste test. I did taste test it before I canned it, and it was delicious, and it was the perfect heat for a medium salsa verde. So thank you guys for coming along with me on this wonderful day in the kitchen, doing salsa and bread and peppers and farm stand things. It's always a pleasure to spend my day with you. I hope you enjoyed it. Yours truly.